There's been a lot of talk about the Greenville, South Carolina real estate market. Recently, interest rates have started to go down. There's been a report that inflation is decreasing, which has been great to help interest rates, but we have the lowest number of employed people since 2020, so we're starting to see more people become unemployed. So in general, people start to worry and think about what's going to happen with the real estate market. I'm going to talk about what's happening in the Greenville real estate market, compare that to the national market, and give you my future forecast in this video. Hi, I'm Evan Whaley, your favorite Greenville realtor. Let's dive into inventory. Inventory is one of the biggest things that impacts the real estate market. When we see really high levels of inventory, that's when home prices start to decline because there's so many options out there for buyers, and it's clearly signaling to the market that there's just not enough buyers out there for the homes that are being put onto the market. And that's when we start to see depreciation and significant depreciation if we go back to the housing market crash of 2007, 2008. One of the indicators that someone could get a little concerned about with Greenville is our inventory is up over 10% year to date. So you hear that number go 10%, wow, that's a large increase. What's actually happened with closed sales? What's actually happening with the total amount of inventory that's sitting on the market? So that's when the numbers start to become a little bit clearer. We're seeing that closed sales are up 4.8%. So people are still buying more homes in Greenville than they were in 2023. So yeah, we've got more inventory, but we also have more buyers as well. The next thing, when we look at the national inventory level, so we measure inventory with monthly supply of inventory. Basically, what we're looking at is how many people are buying homes every month versus how many homes are on the market. When we look at that number, we call 5 to 6 months a balanced market, meaning it's not a buyer's market, it's not a seller's market. There's enough homes for people, homes are appreciating at a good price, and the buyers have options to find a property that really suits their needs. When we look at the national market, it's 3.7 months of inventory. So it's still technically classified as a seller's market because it's less than 5 months of inventory. When we look at Greenville, it's actually at 3.8 months of inventory. So we're right alongside with the national average. So even though we've seen these increases in inventory, we're really right where the national market has been. Greenville has been such a popular destination for people to move to, and we've had so many people that were homeowners here that just have been hesitant to put their home on the market for a multitude of reasons, which I've talked about in the past. But now we're seeing that those people are putting their homes on the market. So we're just catching back up on all the inventory shortage that we've had. And as we see these interest rates decline, it'll be really interesting to see what's going to happen in our market, because we've had a lot of people that have sat on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to come down. If they continue to go down, traditionally during an election cycle, we have always seen, not just locally, nationally, that the market is fueled with lower interest rates and we see more buyer demand coming out of an election cycle. So will we see that again? History says we will. As we continue to look at this, of course, the unemployment rate is a concern. That is something that's always going to impact people's lives, and we never want people to be unemployed if they want to be employed. What we're seeing here locally in Greenville is that our employment numbers are remaining pretty flat. We're seeing that a lot of people, because of all the new companies that have moved into our area, there are employment opportunities for people to have here. So overall, at this point, it does look like the Greenville market is going to be very resilient. It's going to be very strong. And these interest rate declines might actually fuel even more buyers into the market, capitalizing on that extra inventory that has not been there in the past few years. Another big indicator is what's actually happening with home prices. When we look at the national average, we are seeing a 5% increase in home prices. When we look at Greenville, it's a 4.8% increase. This isn't something for me to really be alarmed about because Greenville has exceeded the national average for 3.5 years now. So I think it's good to be right at or potentially slightly below the national average for appreciation, because we've had so much appreciation in our area. We really went from a housing market in 2019 where home prices were below $250,000 on average in Greenville, all the way up to almost $425,000. So we've seen significant increases, which for a lot of people, if they haven't seen massive increases in their pay, especially as interest rates have gone up, that's been a big factor in their home buying decision. So it will be nice to see the market slightly cool off some. We never want to see any depreciation in our real estate market, but ultimately you really want to see about a 3 to 4% appreciation year over year to have a nice steady market so that homeowners are getting the value out of their property, but it's also still affordable for local people and for people moving into the area. Another really huge factor that we have to consider whenever we're looking at average and median price points of homes is you don't get to see a true appreciation. What I mean by that is we don't see what happens with 123 Main Street. If it sells for this amount in June and then it sells for this amount in July, what we're looking at is the total market of homes that have sold. And what we're seeing in Greenville is one of the top new construction markets in the entire country. We're seeing a lot of new construction that's happened here. And what we're seeing is a lot of the new construction builders are actually building in that 300 to 500,000 price point. And really what they're doing is they want to capture all the people that are moving here for retirement that want a smaller footprint home. They're finding the first-time home buyers. They're trying to create a product that they feel is the product need for the market. So of course, if you have almost 50% of the homes being new construction and a large portion of them being in that price bracket, that's going to create a little bit of a squeeze and put your numbers from a median and average price standpoint on the lower end of that spectrum. When I look and compare homes in specific neighborhoods that are resale, that are very popular neighborhoods, we're seeing much higher levels of appreciation than this 4.8 number that I'm giving you. So overall, we're seeing a very strong market, especially in the resale sector. So it's just things to keep in mind with housing statistics because they can be skewed in so many different ways. So make sure that you're talking to someone that really understands housing market statistics and they're not just throwing out one or two different statistics. Now, I do want to make sure that I'm not just painting some rosy picture for somebody. The Greenville market is very resilient. We're seeing a lot of really great things happening here. What we saw in 2020 to 2023, really even the early part of 2024 here, is that we had a seller's market unlike really any that we've ever seen in our country, especially here locally in Greenville. We're starting to see that cool off some. We're seeing homes staying on the market for, on average closer to 60 days now, where at one point we were closer to 20 or 30 days. Great homes can still sell much faster than that. We still see multiple offer situations and we see the full spectrum. We see homes that just can't sell or they take forever to sell because they're not as marketable. So that's why it's super important to hire the right real estate professional, whether you're buying or selling, so that they really know the ins and outs of what's happening in the local market, because real estate is super hyper local and you really need to make sure you're consulting with an expert to help you through this decision, whether it's here in Greenville or somewhere else. So make sure that you are hiring the right real estate professional because it is critical, especially in a market like this, to make sure you're going to get the return on investment, that you're finding a home at a great value that's going to match your needs and expectations, or that you're finding the right person to help sell your property and market it in the best way possible. And they know what the buyers in that market are looking for, and they know if they're local or if they're relocating and all the other different factors that are so important when you're deciding on which real estate expert to work with. I'm curious to hear, what are your thoughts with the local real estate market here in Greenville? What do you think is going to happen? Leave a comment down below.